You know, I just got done filming this video here, how I made 2 Renaissance-inspired blouses out of 1 bed sheet. And I just love the look of this outfit so very much. My overalls with this blouse, that I want to make more overalls because frankly, I just do not have enough overalls. Now I don't have a pattern, so I am going to wing it. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these overalls. I am going to trace them out on paper. I am then going to cut out those paper pieces, transfer them to a mock-up fabric, if you will. I'm going to pick a nice fabric, transfer it to that, cut them out, and sew all the pieces together. And then I'm going to have overalls. It sounds really very easy. Let's see if it is really very easy. I drafted the patterns off camera as well as made 2 mock-ups prior to filming this video. I'm wearing the second mock-up while filming most of this video. I start with laying out and pinning down my pattern pieces. Then I cut them out. I am left with 2 pieces each of the front, the back, and the front and back facings. Now it's time to assemble the pieces. I sewed the front pieces and the back pieces together. I make sure to leave part of the front open for the buttons. I then pin the facings to the front and the back and sew them into place. I clip the curves so the fabric lays smooth when I turn the top right sides out. Now it's time to sew the sides together. First I pin the edges together, then move to the sewing machine where I sew the sides together. For the crotch, I simply lined up the middle seams and pinned them together. Then I line up the edges of the pant legs and pin and sew them in place. I finish the pants legs with a rolled hem. Once the overalls are sewn together, I iron the straps. Now at this point, I iron the straps for absolutely no reason. Now for demonstration. What I actually needed to do was to take the strap, fold it, sew it right sides together like this, and then I would end up flipping and turning it out to create the strap. So that is what I ended up doing, but I did not get any footage for it. Now there are some slight differences in the straps, and I will talk more about that later on in the video. Now I shove the strap into the strap hole and top stitch in place. Now at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that I had made 2 previous overalls testing out my pattern before making this video showing you the houndstooth fabric that I used to make the overalls. So what better a grand reveal than to show all 3 of them? Are you ready for the reveal? Now these overalls are the first mock-up. They are most closely resembled to the overalls that I copied them from, which are these overalls, the ones I started the video in. These have pockets, and the reason I didn't put pockets in this one was because the pockets are weird in this one because it's so tight and it's like a body fit type of overalls. And also these zip in the back and zippers are just the worst. So I didn't want to do that. I wanted them to close in the front. On these overalls, I opted for using buttons. I did not much like the look of this. Like, it's not bad, but I did a very not good job on these buttons, especially the buttonholes themselves. I cannot seem to figure out how to use the stinking buttonhole thingy on my machine. It does not work like it's supposed to work. So I don't know. It's probably user error. I'll figure it out eventually. So instead of going for the buttons, I have these plastic snaps that I'm going to use instead of using the buttons. I may also try this again with grommets for them to lace up. Probably not for this pattern. I would have to adjust it and make a whole new one, I think. The straps for these overalls are your standard overall straps. There's nothing special about these. With the second mock-up, I am going to use crisscross straps. So it'll give a little different variation. I also think that I'm going to try adding pockets. But those pockets are going to be external pockets instead of internal pockets. It is also high-waisted. These overalls have pockets in the front and in the back. I did make the pockets on the back go up just a little bit too high. And I'm not really sold on the shape of them, but regardless, they're pockets. I could not fit pockets, they're standard ones that go into the hip because of how tight these are against my hips. I do like the silhouette that it gives my body though, so I like these. I think the print is also really fun. The straps turned out pretty okay. For these straps, I did opt for putting the seam in the middle of the strap, whereas on the first one, I put it on the side. I can just feel it. It's a preference thing. Does it make it look nicer or more professional? Who's to say? But overall, I dig these. Now it is time for me to make the final pair of overalls. I am going to be using a blue and black houndstooth fabric. It is a relatively stiff fabric, so I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work out with this pattern. This fabric is thicker than the first one, so there's only one layer, and then the facings in these overalls. I think I'll be doing the same thing with the other fabric because it is a thicker fabric and having 2 layers is pointless. And the final pattern for the overalls that I did, I also really like these. I'm not sure how, but the height of the overalls, this is actually way high-waisted. It's probably at least an inch in difference between this height and the height of the other overalls. I did do a lot of tweaking to get to this pattern base, and the only thing that I'm having an issue with is the crotch area. Whenever I move, it bunches in a weird way, and I cannot, for the life of me, figure out how to fix it. For the closure in the front, I chose these black plastic snaps. They hold securely pretty well. The inside is gold because I ran out of the inside of the black pieces. There are no pockets on this one, and the straps are not crossed. They are your standard overall type strap. I also did put the seam for the strap in the middle of this one as well. Again, who's to say that it is or is not more professional looking. So other than the crotch being weird, which is probably, it's the fabric more than it is the pattern, I don't know. I guess I shouldn't have adjusted my original pattern that I made because the first overalls was pretty okay, except for them being too tight in the hips. I adjusted the crotch and I made everything weird. I don't know why that happened. Well, that is all that I have for today's video. I want to thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me while I made these overalls. It takes a lot of work for me to put into making these videos. So if you do like this video, please hit the like button, leave a comment of some kind down below in the comments section. And if you're not already, consider subscribing. And if you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you get notified every time I post a new video. I do my best to post at least once a week. If you made it all the way to the end, you are amazing. Thank you again, and I'll see you next time.